The eyes of the world are on Minneapolis, Minnesota, as everyone watches what becomes of the murder of George Floyd, a man killed at the hands of police officers, a scene that is far too familiar. But what about Canada? Some would like to believe that the true North, strong and free, is immune to the reality of racism. But any person of color will say that it is far from the truth. To paint a picture of what it's like to grow up Black in Canada, I'm joined by someone I know very well. In fact, I used to change his diapers. Welcome, my brother, Mark McCalla. Hey, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Welcome to the world of television. Thanks so much for joining me and helping us to paint a picture of reality for Black men in Canada. I want to ask you first, when did you first realize that people treated you differently because of the color of your skin?
I would say around grade 5, grade 6. I went to a new school, and when I was at that school, I got suspended. I got my bag searched a lot by teachers, accusing me of stealing paper, pens, school supplies. They're on going and getting suspended and getting detention from that school because they thought I was stealing. Never really had that problem at any other school until I was in grade 5 and 6 when I switched schools and districts.
And so why do you equate that to the color of your skin? Did you steal these items?
No, I
Did you give a reason
didn't.
for it?
No, I didn't. I didn't steal these items. They actually searched my bags, and that's why they gave me detention, because they said that I hid it after I stole it. Time and time again. Yeah, and I was the only one that was getting profiled and pinned against. All the rest of the kids in the school um, were different ethnicities and didn't have share the same skin color that I did, right?
So then when was the first time you realized that it affected how people saw you, just in generally in public outside of school?
So especially when I was driving, when I got my license and I got my own vehicle and I started driving, I got pulled over when I was a driver of a vehicle. I have been pulled over before as a passenger, but my first experience of getting pulled over as a driver, where the cops had pulled me over for falsely accusing me of saying that like they couldn't see my license plate or giving up excuses, and then that leading into questions of, do you have a weapon in the car? Do you have drugs in the car? Have you done any drugs? Do you have any gang affiliations? Do you go by any street names or nicknames on the streets? And just crazy questioning that had nothing to do with the original pullover.
How many times would you say that you've been pulled over by the cops?
20, 25 times.
And how many times have you actually received a ticket from the cops?
4, 5 times.
And have you ever been affiliated with any criminal activity, drugs, any reason for the police to focus in on you, target you?
No, I have never been involved in any of that. There was a time that me and my friend were driving to meet his sister for his birthday, and they pulled over me and my friend, and they asked him for his ID registration, and asked him, and he gave it to them. They went back to the cruiser. He came back out, asked my friend to step out of the vehicle. While he asked him to step out of the vehicle, he threw my friend on the trunk, handcuffed him. And when I exited the vehicle to see what was going on, the cop pulled a gun out of me and pointed at me and told me to get the F back in the car. So I went back in the car. He handcuffed my friend. He put him in the back of the cruiser. 6 other cruisers ended up pulling up. And then when the cops came, I said, if you guys want to ask me to search me, I have no problem with emptying out my pockets and having you search me, but you're not going to put handcuffs on me. And then the cops came. The original cop that arrested my friend came and said, you know why I handcuffed your buddy and I threw him back in the car? Because he got his date of birth wrong. I said, you handcuffed him, put him in the back of the car, and because he got his date of birth wrong. After that whole ordeal and they let us go, we ended up realizing that we didn't have our keys to the car. So we had to walk. We called them and they said that we had your keys at the station, had us walk all the way back to the station to grab our keys. came all the way back to the car to then get back in the car, and came to like 2 parking tickets that were put on our car.
Wow.
Yeah.
The irony of that is that you
Yeah.
come back to 2 parking tickets on your
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Wow. You also have the story of being on a bus and being targeted. You were on your way
Yeah.
to visit a friend. Tell us
Yes,
about that.
I was on my way to visiting a friend, and the police cruiser, I saw him come up the side of the bus and pull the bus over.
And this is
They
like a
got,
public transit bus you're talking about.
yeah,
Okay.
public transit bus. And they came into the back of the bus. They signaled to the bus driver to open up the back doors, came onto the back doors and said, can you exit the vehicle? And I said, me? And they're like, yes, we're not going to ask you again. So I got off the bus drove off, and they said, where are you heading to? Where does your friend stay? What's your friend's exact address? Where do you live? What school do you go to? And the question went on for 20-25 minutes. At the end of it all, I said, well, what's this all about? And they said, you're free to go. And I said, well, what's this all about? And he's like, do you want to discuss this further at the station? I told you you're free to go. You can go. And I proceeded to walk down to my friend's house because I didn't have any more bus fares. So I had to walk to my friend's house.
How does this feel? I'm going to ask you about another story that recently happened, but how does this make you feel as you list? And I know there's so many stories that you could tell us.
Yeah.
How does this make you feel?
It's sad, frustrated, angry. Why does this keep on happening to me? Why me? Like I stated before, I've had no criminal history. I have no run-ins with the police. Like, I don't understand what singles me out compared to anybody else. And I know it.
And those tickets that you mentioned, they're speeding tickets, right? Like,
yeah, they're speeding tickets. Yeah,
it might be a little light, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they're speeding tickets. Yes, which when I did get the tickets, I admitted, I said yes, I was speeding, and then that was nothing but me speeding.
But besides the interactions with the police, you face this when you walk into a store. You've been followed walking into a store with our other brother, Michael.
Yes.
Most recently, you were at a gas station.
Yes.
You called me right after it happened.
Yeah.
Tell us about the gas station story.
So I pulled into a gas station. I pulled into a gas pump, and he said, I pulled up and pulled the nozzle out to pump my gas, and he said, prepaid only. I'm like, oh, okay, because I didn't know how much money I would have to put into the gas station, and I don't like doing prepaid. So I pulled up to another pump, to another pump, and I proceeded to pump. Probably 2 seconds afterwards, the gentleman pulled into the exact same pump that I was at and started pumping. So I asked the gentleman, I said, did you have to prepay for that pump? And he's like, no, I didn't have to. I'm like, okay. So when I went in to pay for my gas, I went to the clerk and I said, I thought that was a prepaid pump. You told me that you had to prepay. He's like, oh, do you think that old white man's going to run off and steal? Ha 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 ha. And he said, and he made mention of my skin color. I was furious. I was upset. I told him to repeat himself. He repeated it. And I contacted the head manager of the gas station to further my complaint. But the whole reason what this protocol was for was because, and the reason why they allowed me to pump it, because I was closer and I was able to be accessible in case in the event that I did steal the gas, that they could get an accurate reading or chase me down. They thought I was a threat, that I was going to steal their gas. Yeah.
So when you hear people say that there isn't racism in Canada, how would you respond to that?
There isn't racism in regards of point blank in your face like US. There is racism in Canada. It's just tactfully done, right? Getting followed by people when you go into places to shop, getting pulled over as many times as I do. That's just all basis on just of my skin color, because I've been with other people of different races and that's never happened.
And when you've been pulled over that many times, you wonder if there is some sort of underlying thread.
Yes.
Hence the reason why you feel that way.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you saw the video of George Floyd's death, his murder?
That could have been me, especially in that situation where the cop pulled the gun out at me. That could have been me, right? I lived through that a lot. I think about that a lot. Just having a gun pulled out on me by somebody that's supposed to be serving and protecting our community, just because he handcuffed and threw my longtime friend of 25 years that also has no criminal record, wonderful person, polite, well-spoken, and just getting out of the car just to see what was going on. That could have easily ended up like that situation with George, right?
So what needs to change, Mark? We, are hearing about Canada, and I feel like this could be a watershed moment, as unfortunately we've seen the death of George Floyd, but so many people are talking about this now, which I feel like needs to happen. What do you feel needs to change in Canada?
I feel like everybody needs to understand the Human Rights Code, read over the Human Rights Code. I feel like employers should, anybody dealing in the public sector, anybody that's dealing with any type of customer interaction should learn the Human Rights Code just to protect yourselves, and understand that everybody is equal, everybody is human, and we really need to, especially police officers, need to get re-certified so often so that they have that reminder.
Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing this. I know that it's hard, it's challenging, and it's personal. But I really do hope this gives people a perspective of what reality is like for many Black men and women in Canada. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for choosing me to interview. Appreciate it. It means a lot.
Hey everyone, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And let us know what you think about today's topic right there in the comments.